Hello! Welcome to another episode of Pre-Work. We're going to make it fun. It's going to be great. And today we're talking about characterization and character motivation. So we just left off on a cliffhanger where Maya is called to the principal's office, and we're not really sure why. But you guys made some really great inferences in class, and so I'm excited to see where it takes us next. So let's get right into it. First, we'll be building some in-text vocab. So this is just vocabulary that you need to know to be prepared for our class on Thursday. So if you do not have your notebook and pen right now, go ahead and get that. Pause the video and go get your notebook and pen. Okay, great. So you have your materials now. Yeah, just remember, taking good notes will help make things easier for you in class and in the long run, and it's just a good skill to build. First word is dispatcher. And a dispatcher is a person who answers phones and organizes the movement of others. So I have two example photos right here. I just Googled dispatcher and I found these two pictures. This is a 911 dispatcher. So if you call 911, this lady will answer the phone and she's going to help organize to make sure, okay, where are you? And when can we get the closest, fire department or police officer to come help you, okay? So I've got my little document right here, and I'm going to provide one of these documents for you as well, but I prefer that you guys take your notes on paper. And I would do that too with you. I like to take notes on paper more, but I'm going to do this so you guys can see what I'm typing. So dispatcher is a person answers, organizes movement of others. Right, so that's a dispatcher. So we've got our definition, and now I want you to do a quick little drawing, some sort of doodle that helps you remember what a dispatcher is, okay? So it could be a phone, or it could be the numbers 911. Be creative. All right, just whatever will help you remember. Or you could try to draw this picture. You could try to draw a lady sitting at a desk with a bunch of screens and a headset. So whatever you want. Or if you're following along with me on a document, you're taking notes on a document, you can Google a picture. So you can just pause and do that. And what part of speech is this? Let's find out. So dispatcher is the person, right? So just to check, we can Google, because Google is our friend. We're not cheating, we're using our resources. And since I'm explicitly saying you guys can use Google, so it's not cheating. But dispatcher, and we're gonna have to write definition. But it's a job, right? It's a person whose job is to receive messages and organize the movement. And it is a noun, because a noun is a person, place, or thing. And so in this case, we're talking about a person. So therefore, noun. When I was in elementary school, we learned this chant that goes, a noun is a person, place, or thing. So it's kind of cheesy, but it helps you remember what it is. All right, and next, I want y'all to write a sentence. So my sentence, and you guys can just copy mine for this one, is going to be, I called the dispatcher when my mom and I got in a car accident. Okay, so and I'm using the word dispatcher. So that's your example. All right, let's move on. Our next word is scuffle. So if you don't already know this word, you can probably infer from these pictures what a scuffle is. Also, the definition's there. A scuffle is a short fight. Okay, so I want you to write that down. Scuffle. What is a scuffle? Short fight. And I want you to draw a picture of that. So pause this video. Pause. Draw a picture. And then a scuffle. See, a fight. is a person, place, or thing. It's a thing, we're pretty sure. But we're going to look it up just to make sure. Okay. Scuffle, a short, confused fight, or struggle at close quarters. And it is a noun. And this is helpful because if you're still a little bit confused, you can see some synonyms and see the differences between these different words. So this is a noun because a noun is a person, place, or thing. And this is a thing that happens. So it's a noun. All right. And then our sentence for this, my brother and I got in a scuffle over leftover food at dinner. Because I have an older brother and we're always fighting over food. It's just who we are. So I'm sure those of you with older siblings can relate, or if you are the older sibling, be nice to your younger sibling. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. That's a nice thing about these videos. Our next vocabulary is Anne Frank. I'm going to write down Anne Frank, Anne with two N's. And Anne Frank is a famous Holocaust survivor who kept a diary at age 13 during this horrific event. And I'm not going to get too much into what the Holocaust is. That can be a whole class on itself. But it was basically a genocide against the Jewish people. So we see a lot of hate crimes in our country today against people of certain races and mass shootings targeted at certain people. Those are hate crimes, and a genocide is like that, but on a much bigger scale. So it's like trying to annihilate, destroy an entire people group. And in this case, in Germany, around this time when Anne was just 13, Hitler was trying to annihilate the Jewish people because of their identity. He saw them as inferior. And it is horrible, and there's so much we can learn from it. And I actually read it in elementary school. I would highly recommend reading this book. Survivor kept a diary during this horrific event. Okay, so you don't need to write down everything I just said about the Holocaust. All you need to know is what I just wrote right here. And that's what you're going to need to know for the reading. Okay, so that's Anne Frank. And you can draw her. You can try to draw her if you like. You don't have to, but you could draw a diary or a little girl writing in a diary. And part of speech, Anne Frank is a person, so we know that's a noun. All right. And a sentence. Anne Frank was a very brave 13-year-old. That's my sentence. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as mine. Be creative, but write something about Anne Frank. And I encourage you to Google her and find something out about her and just write it down as your sentence. Okay, so you can pause here, but I'm going to move on. All right, so our next word is moral dilemma. This is a situation when a person is torn between right and wrong. So I'm going to write that down. Moral dilemma. The definition: a situation when a person is torn between right and wrong. Torn between right and wrong. This is a famous moral dilemma. It's called the trolley problem. There's a lot there. You could just look at it. But yeah, I want you guys to do this one independently, so on your own. So on your own, you're going to look up moral dilemma, okay, and learn a bit more about what it means. And then you're going to draw a picture of it. Okay, so I'm just gonna type picture, but you will draw picture on your paper. And then part of speech, okay, you're gonna find that on your own, use Google. And then you're going to write a sentence. So, speech, sentence. And for the sentence, I encourage you to be creative. So come up with a scenario that would be a moral dilemma, or look into your own life and try to come up with an example from your own life that could be seen as a moral dilemma. All right? So go ahead and pause and do that. Okay. So next we're going to move on to our key points. So our first key point for today is characterization. And characterization is the process by which the author reveals the personality of a character. Those describing traits that make a character who they are. And that the act of doing that is characterization. So we have two types of characterization. We have direct and indirect. All right. So in direct characterization, the character's personality is told directly to the reader. Okay, so we're going to write that down. Follow along in your page. All right, I'm going to write key points first. Key points. And our first key point is characterization. It's kind of hard to spell. Characterization. Okay. Did I spell it right? Oh, no, I didn't, but Google fixed it for me. Thank you. Okay. And it's the process by which the author reveals personality. The author reveals personality of the character. So in this case, we would be talking about our character Maya. We can write two types, direct and indirect. In indirect characterization, personality is told directly to the reader. So personality told directly to the reader. In indirect, it is shown. Okay, so in writing classes, you may have been told show, not tell. So, or you may see this in TV shows or movies that you watch as well, is when a new character is introduced, and one character might say, "Oh, she's a very mean person." Okay, so that would be telling, right? That'd be direct characterization. But you could also show this. So instead of having one character say about this other character, "Oh, she's a very mean person," we could have that mean character come in and knock that character's stuff over. And then you could infer, "Oh, she's a very mean person." Or you could infer, "Oh, maybe she's just having a bad day." So yeah, that's kind of the difference. So in indirect, personality is shown or revealed through clues. So we're going to write that down. I'm going to put this all on the same page so it's easier for you guys to see. Personality is shown through clues. Right. And then I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on what that means. So direct characterization describes the character through their physical description, line of work, passions, or goals. So these are some examples, right? So one way of describing my character, let's call her Molly, would be, Molly loves reading. And, you know what? Let's talk about Anne Frank. So Molly, Anne Frank loves writing, and she wants to be a journalist when she grows up. She doesn't have a job right now. She's a kid, but She has short brown hair that stops at her shoulders, and she has a big smile. Okay, so that was all. Everything I just told you is direct characterization. All right, so I want you to write down these 3 things: physical description, line of work, passions, or goals. So you can add that. You can just draw an arrow off to the side here, but since I'm on a document, I can just add it on here. So type. Okay, physical description. No, I don't want to undo. Okay, physical description. Line of work. Line of work, passions, or goals. Okay. Next, for indirect, it could be shown through thoughts, actions, speech, and dialogue. So it could be their thoughts, or their actions, speech, and dialogue. So we're going to write that down. And for those of you who might be wondering what the difference between speech and dialogue is, speech is like the way that you would say something, and dialogue is literally the words being spoken. So another example, if we use that same Anne Frank example for indirect characterization, her thoughts, actions, speech, and dialogue, by reading her book, we would actually be able to see a lot of that. So some of her internal thoughts that she would journal about in her diary, all of those would serve to be indirect characterization of who she is, right? Our second key point is character motivation. And character motivation is very simple. The reason why a character does something. So character motivation is why a character does something. Character motivation is why a character does something. Okay? Why a character does something. And another way of writing this is that motive equals why. Okay, so that's just the big picture way of understanding it. So I want you to write this down as well. Motive equals why. So the motivation is like what drives you. And so I have this picture of a bunny and a carrot because rabbits are my favorite animal. I was born in the year of the rabbit. And yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen that picture of a horse chasing a carrot that it has like a stick, and the person behind them is holding a stick in front of them, and the horse is kind of like running to catch the carrot. That's motivation, right? So food is a huge motivator for a lot of us. Definitely is for me. But yeah, so that is one character motivation. And we're going to talk more about this in class. So, great. And the last thing I want you all to do to just elaborate on what character motivation is we're going to watch a little bit of this musical. It's a very short musical, but we're going to watch a bit of it.
The plan was called Operation D-, and one of the schools included in the plan was Park Vista Community High School, where a kid named Justin LeBoy, that's me, an 18-year-old honor roll student, I get straight A's, man, was in the last semester of his senior year. Justin could hardly believe his luck when a very pretty girl showed up. Naomi. And not one, but two of his classes. Naomi. She sat in front of him. He switched. Naomi. The last name she used was Rodriguez. Justin, what drew you to Naomi initially? Man, she used to fall asleep in class. She She was a light-skinned, Puerto Rican, Dominican, long hair, mature in the body like, whoa, like, whoa. That's not the only reason I like her though. She said she moved with her mother to Florida from New York, where dreams are made. Well, so did I. So I said hi. She seemed mature and I talked more. And I was like, what the heck I gotta do to be with you? What the heck I gotta do? What the heck I gotta do to be with you? What the heck I gotta do? Tell me who I gotta be for you to be with me. You told her all this in class? Well, yeah. I texted her, I was like, what the heck I gotta do to be with you? LOL. What the heck I gotta do to be with you? ROFLOL. Tell me who I gotta be for you to be with me. Smiley face. Yes! Next thing you know, we're texting day and night. I trust her right away.
All right, so we're gonna stop there. But before we go, yeah, just think about that character. So his name's Justin, right? He obviously has a huge crush on this girl, Naomi. And so when we think about character motivation, you hear him singing this, and you can probably infer that he's going to do something to get her attention, right? Or to get her to go out with him. So that's his motivation, right? So whatever he does next, we can probably infer that it's because of Naomi, or it's because he wants to be with her. Okay, so that is a really clear way of understanding character motivation, right? It's what drives a character. So that's all, and I will see you in class. Bye, everyone. Oh, and one more thing. Make sure that you have your notes in class. And if you made it to the end of this video, go ahead and draw a smiley face at the bottom of your notes. Okay, bye.